we've talked about China's effect on Bitcoin, and I'll ask you guys this. If Bitcoin is truly a decentralized currency, could China and one person like Elon, even though Elon is acting like Trump on Twitter, could two entities have a great effect on a currency or an asset? Great investment if you get into it at a price. And somebody had messaged me earlier and said, hey, the key to crypto is to get in at a great price. I'm like, that's the key to every business. If you buy anything at a low enough price and you know what the true value of it is, all of your profit is where you enter. Please write down, I will be a safe investor and I will buy at great prices. Now, these are some things you need to know about how to tell a true trend. Everyone put in chat, what's the primary time frame that I've always told you guys to look at when looking at a chart? Quiz time. I want to see who's been doing their homework. Number 2, real support. Real support is not on a day chart. I will tell you that. It's not on a 4 hour. It's not on a 1 hour. It's not on a 15 minutes. Not on a 5. You have to go to a higher time frame. Google real supply and demand. I know there's a lot of people telling you about institutional levels, and they have no clues what those are. But if you go back and look at the episode with Mike Novogratz, he told you that the area that I called out was a institutional level as a retail investor. You have to then go reverse engineer to find out how I got that price. That's what a real supply and demand is. Number 3, this is probably most important. The Fibonacci 50% level. So when anything hits a high, I need you to immediately mark off where the half off mark is. So if in Atlanta, we talked about it last week, if you can get a house for, there's a house right now for 800,000 and it's going for 400,000, would you be interested in buying that home? But when stocks are running up, everyone wants to continue to buy when it's at 97% of its value. You can't do so. On every stock, go mark off where the 50% value line is. For those of you that are doing options, I'm surprised that you guys do not have the put call ratio indicator on, especially if you're on TradingView. So you'll see how many puts are in play versus how many calls on that particular asset. For my traders that are doing futures, you need to go look at the commitment of traders report that comes out and see how many longs there are versus how many shorts there are on the asset. That will tell you with people that are actually trading, not people just talking about it on Twitter or IG and they're lying about trading, actual money in the market, what percentage of the market is going long versus short. Reversion to the mean is key. So anytime something goes to a top, it's going to float back to the middle. It's also an area where you can take profit. And for those of you that like RSI, you need to do 95/5 instead of 70/30 or 80/20. Lesson number 7, you're panicking in areas when you should be profiting. When people are panicking like, oh my God, Troy, can you believe Bitcoin fell to 30,000? These are the areas when you have mass hysteria in which you should be looking to buy. When everyone is so hyped and so elated about any asset, I don't care what it is, that's the time when you should be taking profit or looking to take profit. Please write in chat, stop buying at the highs. Number 8, everyone's asked, well, how do I know when the high is? Google high and low indicator, whether on Thinkorswim, TD Ameritrade. I believe E-Trade has one as well. But the high-low indicator, and if you put it on the yearly, will map out what the yearly high is, what the yearly low, and if you also put it on a day time frame, it will map out for you over 30 days or 90 days what the high of that session is. Lesson number 9. No one wants this part, but if you want mastery, this is for you. Study 4 hours a day. You have to realize that your life and the trajectory of your family is going to be decided by those who are in government and politics and those that are investors that have mastered this craft. I put it earlier. Retirement was created for people to drive them into a welfare class. But notice every time retirement age comes up, it's always getting pushed back. So if you are not able to have enough money to retire your family, you're always going to be at the helm and instruction of others who would dictate when you can get there. Lesson number 10, if you don't know where to get in, you can use the 72 EMA. It works on all time frames. And lesson number 11, I need you to look long-term first. I touched on this early, but I need to reiterate this. Your life will be at the mercy of those who have mastered the markets if you do not master it for yourself. Do you want your family to be in bondage or not? Put yes or no in chat. Lesson number 12. I thought this is pretty interesting when Fred Wilson, if you guys don't know who Fred Wilson is, legendary investor, but he says anything that China bans, invest in it. Google, YouTube, Facebook, Crunchyroll, Wikipedia, Reddit, Microsoft, OneDrive, Netflix are all examples of companies that have been banned in China. Maybe Elon and Tesla would be next. But will Bitcoin be okay? Yes. But if you look at historically, the companies that China has not liked, that has given their nation access to more information, they typically ban, and it's usually a sign of a quality asset that you could invest in. And many of the greatest investors made a bulk of their lifetime gains on a few investments. It only takes a few great decisions. It's not like basketball where you have to make a great play or great decision every day. You may have 8 great investments over the course of your life and be okay. You may have 4. You may have 12, right? But you don't need 60 home runs in order to be safe. The great thing is, and this is a lesson, please write this down. If you're investing in a great asset, Apple, Microsoft, Google, NVIDIA, AMD, TSM, Mercado Libre, those same assets that you are investing in long term, you can also trade those same assets. That way, you know what the personality of it is. So for me, I like VOO, VTI, SPY, long term, QQQ. Those are also the assets that I trade on the future side. So I like the NASDAQ future. I like the ES future because I know what the personality of them are each week. Lesson 14, please listen up. People with a bag want safety, and those without want risk to grow one. I'm going to tell you a secret that none of you want to hear, and I've been telling you this for weeks. Fast growth is a trap to destruction set out by those who want to see you fail. I'm telling you, you don't have to like it. And I posted this earlier. A lot of times the truth seems like hate when you're being finessed and conned. But the truth is the truth. It doesn't have to be advertised. But otherwise, you would have seen every billionaire and every major corporation run into every other asset. You want safety first. And even if you have a small account, you will magically find more money from your family and friends. And let's be honest. When you go to your friends and family and say, hey, I want you to invest, they'll ask you what? How are you doing? Oh, it was going all right, but I put my money in these derivatives and man, I'm down $16,000. But if you would have just got consistent gains, they would have found money to give you and say, hey, baby, I want you to help me. And that's how the small wins will add up. And I know we all want home runs, but safety is more important. Get rich slowly and safely. I put this last year. 1% improvement every day adds up. So for those of you who really want to be great at this, read every day, be on the charts every day, block out the noise, because everything that's ever been written on investing has already been covered. There's nothing new. The part that is tough is that people will not execute. This happened in the 1990s, 2006, 2007, 2013. Then I went from Forex, which everybody killed me about in episode 70. Shout out to y'all. And then crypto came in and then people got destroyed. This happens in waves, but once you've been around the block a couple of times, you can see it coming a mile away. For those of you that are Bitcoin lovers or crypto lovers, check out these returns. Even over a 10-year period, if you compare gold is up 23% over a 10-year period. S&P is up 213, but if you look at crypto or Bitcoins, it's up 388,000%. The most important thing in this space you have to do is protect your username. Do not put it in your iCloud because your stuff can get hacked and taken. I go back and look to when I first got into Bitcoin and got caught up in the Mt. Gox thing. I looked at how many coins I had and calculated it 3 days ago. Wanted to die. But the lesson that you learn from that, and Rashad talked about it before, defense first. Maybe if I would have picked a more reputable broker, I would be up, a few thousand% easily in this passive asset. So year over year, you want to look at the assets that give you the highest return. But regardless of what you invest in, if it is a good investment, it will go up over time. And that 5 and 10-year period is what you want to keep your eyes on. Lesson 16, let's talk about futures real quick. And I'm not saying everyone should do this. Read the disclaimer at the bottom. But if you do 50 contracts, and let's say you aim for 21 ticks, and I need you to practice 300 times first before you go live. I know a lot of you like, hey, I need money now, but acquiring and keeping money is a skill set. It's not a gamble. That's why when you guys are like, hey, what's the play? I hate the word play because I don't want to play with my money, my life, or my family. You have to master a skill set. But if you can knock 12 trades out in a row, even if it's one trade a month, you could potentially make $393,000 by trading while still long-term investing. But everything in investing is a skill set that you must master. Focus on two assets. Please write this down. Only focus on two assets and futures. Master those and you'll be good. Shout out to the dream team. 2 index and 2 tech. Everyone, please write this down. 4 assets is enough for my freedom. You don't need 22. You don't need 13. You need a quality 4. And if we look at Bitcoin versus traditional assets, you can see, please write this down. Look at the drawdown periods of Bitcoin. 42%, 56, 82, 86. Now, what I want you to do from these dates, a year later, how much was the asset up in comparison? This is why. There is no risk without high reward. So if you have hyper growth, that is going to be paired with hyper drawdowns. So if an asset falls 58%, if you're risking 1 to make 11, what should your expected return should be? Put it in chat. Or if you're risking $1 to make 25, what is your expected return going to be? This is a game of math and how many trades you would take and how many investments you would make. That's it.
My graduates from my school being Forbes, bag drop.
Bag drop.
A mic drop, bag drop.
Bag drop.